I think creating new positions in the time that we're in is not necessarily a proper move from a budgetary standpoint. Didn't necessarily agree with that for that point, but I will approve the budget as we present it.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Waller. I should probably break down reminding me about the steps we broke down. We ranked a set of priorities we wanted to see this budget year. One thing we were faced with was that our deputies are the lowest paid in the area, surrounding counties. Pendleton County was actually paying higher than we were. We wanted to give the deputies a $5,000 a year raise, and that would have brought them to just above Pendleton County and below Tucker County and below Randolph County. But we're facing a problem where we're putting a lot of training into deputies, and then they get certified, and then they're taking higher paying jobs in neighboring counties. So we're losing our investment in the deputies. We very much wanted to give them a raise. So that was the first priority. I'll come back to the dollar amounts in a moment. The second priority was fire departments. As you recall, a few meetings back, the fire department chiefs came here, a couple of them did, and they were asking for our help and anything we could do. They wanted us to consider what we could do in our budget, and they wanted us to talk to our state elected officials to see what we could do. On that front, we did talk to Senator Greg Tucker, and he introduced some legislation to try to keep reimbursement for certification costs to those who pass their tests, the fire department and EMS. That legislation did not pass, but we did try on that regard. What we were able to do within our budget was, despite all the cuts that we had to make, we found $100,000 to give to the fire departments, and I've passed that word along to Buster Varner and he to the other fire chiefs. They're very appreciative of that, and so we've taken one year at a time, and we're glad to be able to help them with that. The third priority was raises for the employees, and we had already hoped to be able to give them a $100 a month raise, deputies being a separate case, and we were able to do that. And the fourth priority was the Water Resources Task Force, which has worked for the last 6 years on developing a water resource management plan for the county. And the timing of that is very good given the situation in Charleston with the chemical leak there. And I'm proud to say that Pocahontas County is the first and so far only county in West Virginia to have submitted a water resource management plan to the DEP, and it has been accepted. So our plan is being used as a model by other counties as we speak to develop plans for their areas. In particular, source water protection plans, SPPs, are needed by districts and utilities now as a result of the chemical spill in Charleston, and we are well ahead of the pack on getting that met. But funding that, as Mr. Walker was speaking to, required taking money from other areas, and we had hoped to give the deputies $5,000. Instead, we gave them $2,500. So we cut the raises we wanted to give them in half. That does bring them up to Pendleton County, and therefore we're a little more competitive, a little more supportive of our deputies in that regard, and I'm glad to be able to do that. But it was a challenge budgetarily to find a way to fund a full-time position for the Water Resources Task Force. Their grant from the USDA has funded the work so far. There's actually been 3 grants total, but that funding will run out June 30. And they're looking for us for a more permanent commitment to the work they've done. I'm glad we were able to do that, but it was a great effort. It took a lot of work to figure that out. So that's, and the fifth priority was courthouse security. We've had several discussions here. Mr. Alderman, I remember you and Mr. Lazoric were here to talk about this last time. And that would require us hiring 2 positions, and we looked at budgeting for 2 full-time positions. That budget was going to be about $110,000, including the maintenance fee,
on the
which would have been about $19,000 a year, we figured.
At least a little. Well, it could be a little less, but
yeah,
pretty close to it.
And at the end of the day, the 3 of us commissioners, we couldn't see justifying that expense. We just didn't have the money for it. So this year, we will not be pursuing courthouse security improvements. The only option that remains on the agenda and I think it's technically a formality at this point, is that the question is, does the grant money allow us to buy any equipment at all without a personnel requirement match on our part? And the grant as a whole, our understanding was that in order to qualify, we had to hire personnel. We're not in a physical position to be able to hire personnel. I don't think we can go through with the grant. Sue has put in calls to the court to find out if there is any kind of a way under which, through the grant, we can get like the card access system for the doors, for example, and get some nice hardware that wouldn't require personnel. We have not heard back from them.
That's great.
So, of course, we'll take up that matter when we get to it, but the bottom line is we're not pursuing courthouse security. That's the budget.